Dana White just dropped a massive announcement, including 3 title fights that are going to take place by the end of the year. And yeah, I predicted this was coming, guys. If you guys don't know, remember, I've been saying, hey, Dana White's going to come out with a big news sort of recap review, whatever you guys want to call them, but he's going to come out with big news soon revolving the last 2 pay-per-views, because there is still, even after this announcement, a lot of question marks. I was hoping to get a little bit more clarity and hopefully more announcements, but to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe next week we get a bigger announcement with more fights, especially because we don't know a lot about that MSG card. But before we get into all that, I just want to remind you guys to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. We're trying to hit 20K by the end of the year. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, so I'm extremely happy for your support. Although I made a video talking about the new schedule, talking about the new upload schedule, and said, hey, on Thursdays I'm going to be live streaming, I figured that this news was so important that we had to skip the live stream and go straight to a video. So instead, we're going to be here with a video. If you guys want to see me live stream maybe tomorrow, let me know in the comment section below and I'll consider it. But anyways, yes, this is a bonus video for the week because this is such a massive news story. Alright, Dana White announced 3 title fights, right? One that's going to be the co-main event to UFC 295 with Jon Jones and Stipe. The other one in UFC 296 in Las Vegas, the end of the year card, which is something that I was not expecting, right? These fights were definitely not what I was expecting. I was expecting something totally different in terms of the scheduling and which fights were going to happen when. But let's talk about it in order, right? UFC 295, like I said, is going to be headlined by Jon Jones and Stipe. That's going to take place in my hometown of New York City, and I will be there. I will be there to witness the main and co-main event, and the co-main event was just announced. Alex Pereira is going to be facing off against Jiri Prochazka. Now, we knew this matchup was going to happen at some point, right? We just didn't know when, but now we finally know it's going to happen November 10th or November 11th, I believe. And yeah, this is a massive deal because this is a very exciting fight. Like, I think this has the potential to be one of the greatest light heavyweight title fights of all time if it is able to last that long. And yes, Jiri is coming off of already one of the greatest light heavyweight title fights ever. So it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, how this fight plays out because yes, Jiri is there to get hit. A lot of people have pointed that out. Jiri is there to get hit. He's exposed, right? Even the fight with Volkan Oezdemir and even the fight with Dominic Reyes, he was getting cracked. Especially against Glover. Remember, Glover almost got him out of there in the beginning of that 5th round. So yes, he is there to get hit. And we know Alex hits like a truck, right? He knocked out Israel Adesanya cold. And so many other people knocked out Sean Strickland, which now we know how good Sean Strickland is. So that win is super impressive. And yeah, now Alex is at 205. I think he's a better 205er than he was a middleweight because he had to cut so much weight, right? He was so drained going into those fights. Now I think he's going to have cardio. He's going to have power. He's going to have size. I think this is going to be a better Alex Pereira than when we saw back in July. And also respect to Alex Pereira, man. This is a very fast schedule. Getting brutally KO'd in April, returning a few months later, and now fighting for the title by the end of the year. Like 3 fights after getting brutally KO'd in April. That is extremely impressive. And by the time Alex fights Jiri, I believe Alex would have fought 4 times in the span of 365 days. And yeah, that's a really insane schedule. So credit to Alex Pereira for keeping active. Basically since he's joined the UFC, right? I mean, he basically hasn't taken any long time off since fighting, right? Well, yes, people criticize his path to the title and it might have been short, but the guy does stay active. He stays busy. And I'm super excited for this fight. I think I'm going to go with Alex Pereira because Jiri does get hit so often. However, this is one of those fights that I could see ending at any moment. I don't think it's going to go the full distance. And if it does, then yeah, these two, we need 2 ambulances for these 2 men because, man, like, they're just going to be swinging at each other. Both strikers. There's going to be no takedowns. You already know this. And yeah, it's going to be interesting too because Glover lost to Jiri. So we're going to see how that plays out. And yeah, that MSG card looks good. I'm waiting to hear about some more fights. You know, usually the MSG cards are usually really good. And usually the end of the year cards are good in general. So I'm waiting to hear about some more fights. And I'm sure we're going to get an announcement soon on some more fights. I mean, Derek Brunson just pulled out. So that card is kind of falling apart. But we just haven't had a lot of news about it. But we're going to get into UFC 296. Now, we knew nothing about UFC 296 yesterday. But now we have all the information in the world. First, I want to start off about the co-main event between Alexandre Pantoja and Brandon Royval. This was one of the most shocking fight announcements definitely out of all of these because I did not see this coming. Honestly, I thought they were going to go for the Moreno trilogy / quadrilogy, depending on if you count that first Ultimate Fighter fight, because the last one was close. It was a really good fight. I don't think they should have went the Brandon Moreno route. I think it's absolutely fair to give it to Brandon Royval. He has earned his title shot. He weighed in as the backup last time. Let him get his shine. Let him get his chance at the title and see what happens. And yeah, Brandon Royval did lose to Alexandre Pantoja, which is unfortunate, I think, in terms of the hype. Like, I think the fight's going to be a lot less hyped. I'm sure Pantoja is going to be a pretty big favorite. So yeah, I'm going to go with Pantoja. I think he's going to beat him again. But the main event is what I'm most excited about to talk about. Colby Covington and Leon Edwards. We knew that this fight was going to happen for a long time, but we finally have a date. Las Vegas, man, this fight was supposed to happen back in July. Obviously, now it's happening here. And I've talked about this fight extensively. I'm super excited for this fight. Colby deserves a main event. I mean, obviously, his fights are usually pretty hyped with the trash talk going back and forth. I know him and Leon are going to go crazy at the press conference. And yeah, this is really close because we've seen Colby struggle with Kamaru Usman, right? And we saw Leon Edwards kind of not struggle with him in that 3rd fight, right? I mean, yes, it was a relatively close fight, and I scored it a draw, but I thought that Leon overall won the fight, and I thought that he did a lot better than Colby did any of his fights. But Colby still is a guy that you can't doubt. He has has amazing wrestling, amazing cardio, so he's always going to be there. The guy is extremely tough. You can't get him out of the fight, but the truth is this: look, by the time he steps in the octagon, it's gonna be about 2 years since he fought, which is insane. It's an insane layoff. What has he been doing during this time? Obviously, we know that this was because the whole assault incident with Jorge Masvidal. That's why he hasn't been fighting. However, now he walks himself back into a title shot with Leon Edwards, and I've talked about this fight before. I think Colby Covington's going to win. Listen, guys, I think the positions that Leon Edwards found himself against Kamaru Usman, I think Colby would just take so much advantage of them on the fence, wearing on Leon. I think Leon's gonna get gassed. I think we're gonna see Colby dominate, and I think we're gonna see him win. I think he'll win the title. I think we might see Leon do well early, but I think we're gonna see Colby get a few takedowns, and as the rounds go on, I think he's just gonna increase his pressure, increase his volume, and I think we're gonna see a really good Colby Covington performance here. Now, Leon does have capability to win, right? He's a dangerous striker. He has underrated wrestling, and I agree with that. And I think, yes, he can defend takedowns, but what people don't understand is Colby Covington is a guy that if he fails at the takedown, he's gonna keep going. He's gonna keep wearing on you on the clinch. The guy just doesn't stop. And to be honest, we saw Leon Edwards on the fence a lot with Usman in that third fight and in the second fight too, and even in the first. And I think in those positions when Leon is against the fence, I think when he's defending those takedowns, I think Colby is just going to drain his energy, be relentless, be annoying, and really frustrate Leon Edwards. So my prediction would probably be Colby by decision, because we haven't seen Colby finish anybody in God knows how long. Like, it's been super long time since the guy's finished anybody. Although I guess he finished Tyron Woodley, but that didn't really count. It was kind of like a rib injury thing. It was a weird thing. I don't even know what was up with that, to be honest.
Oh, something happened.
Dana White just announced these 3 fights, and yeah, honestly, these fights I'm excited for. However, there is a few question marks still left remaining, because I was pretty certain if Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler were not going to headline that December card, which we now know is confirmed, I figured it was going to be O'Malley and Cheeto Vera, right? There was so much talk about that back in Boston, how that was going to be the rematch. We were going to run it back in December, how O'Malley wanted to defend his title in Las Vegas. We heard all of that, right? And it turns out that Sean O'Malley is not going to get that shot. Now, I don't know when he's going to fight. Maybe they're going to hold him for UFC 300. You never know. That would be a few months after the fact, but my thing is, I don't think they're going to have him fight in January. That's the Vancouver card. I don't think it makes sense to have him in Canada. Although they really should stack that Canada card, because, man, that last Canada card, the UFC needs to make up for that monstrosity of a card. But we have a few titles, right? I was also expecting the vacant title for the women's bantamweight title to have a data ready and pick 2 contenders that are going to fight. I assume that's still going to be Juliana Pena. However, I think they're going to have her fight Pennington instead of Bueno Silva due to Bueno Silva's issues with USADA. And yeah, I don't know what's going on with the whole card, man. I don't know if O'Malley's going to fight in February. He could fight in January, I guess, in Vancouver, but you never know. I'm just surprised. I thought they were going to pick him for Las Vegas. However, you never know. Maybe they'll put 3 title fights on the card. But I don't know who would headline. You guys think O'Malley should headline? Colby should headline? Let me know in the comments section below. But yeah, these announcements were exciting. As a UFC fan, I'm glad to have some more clarity. However, there's still a bunch of question marks, and I'm sure there's a lot of other fun fights that they're going to add. Another fight, too, Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. When is that going to happen? If they're going to Vancouver in January, I don't think the fight is going to wind up happening in January. Does it happen in February? Does it happen in March? Does it ever happen? Will Conor McGregor just never return? We don't know the answers, but yeah, I think this definitely adds some clarity. Even though we have these questions, we know now Conor McGregor is not going to be fighting this year. We know O'Malley's not going to fight again this year. Well, I guess O'Malley could always be added as a co-main event, but it seems like that the card is kind of done. I don't think we're going to see O'Malley fight this year. I also was hoping that they would announce some more fights for that Abu Dhabi card. I mentioned you guys in the past, but I'm pretty sure that in their deal that they have to have 2 title fights. Now, I could be wrong, seeing that the card is about a month away now. So I thought the announcement was going to be some clarity. Maybe they were just going to throw the women's bantamweight title on there. But yeah, they didn't make any announcements in terms of that. But guys, let me know in the comment section below, what you guys think about this announcement. Guys, I made a video yesterday breaking down some of the new things that are going on with the channel, so go check that out if you guys are interested. You guys are the best fan base MMA. I seriously cannot thank you guys enough. We're coming up on 1 year for the channel, and you guys have been doing great, man. I literally cannot thank you guys enough. Can't believe where we are. Let me know if you guys want to see me live stream. A Q&A is coming up, so comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.